One of the very key topics in economics is supply and demand. Understanding supply and demand is key to understanding economics. If you don't understand supply and demand, you're never really going to understand economics because it's important in many issues that we discuss in economics. And you'll use supply and demand throughout your study of economics. To understand supply and demand, to help us analyze it, we like to graph supply and demand. When we graph supply and demand, we draw it something like this, and we put price on the vertical axis, and we put quantity on the horizontal axis. The first thing we'll draw on here is demand. You see that price is on this axis, quantity is on this axis. So the question is, does demand curves, do they slope down or do they slope up? Well, think about it for a minute. If the price comes down, will you demand higher quantities or lower quantities? Well, if the price comes down, you're going to demand higher quantities. So that means that the demand curve is going to slope downward like that. And that's the demand curve, slopes down and to the right. What about the supply curve? As the price increases, if you're the supplier, would you like to supply more or less? Well, at higher prices, of course, you'd like to supply more. So the supply curve is going to slope up like that. That's our supply curve. We're always interested in knowing the market equilibrium. The market equilibrium occurs where supply is equal to demand. And we're interested in knowing the market equilibrium price and the market equilibrium quantity. Well, to determine the market equilibrium price, we're going to read that from the price axis. So we come straight over here to the price axis and we read it from there. Let's just say that it's $2. So if this point is $2, our equilibrium price is $2. And our equilibrium quantity, well, of course, that's going to be read here from the quantity axis. We find the point where the two lines cross, come straight down to the quantity axis, and I'll just say that that's 100. So our equilibrium quantity is 100. And that's how we determine, or the market determines, equilibrium price and quantity.